prevention is always better than cure. So let's take note of that. Now, as for nípa controlled burning, ṣé rántí tá fi sọmọ jàlá? Kí ni ìyàtọ̀ tó wà nínú controlled burning àti open burning, and what are the advantages? Some of these things may not actually be written. Oh, it's something you can think about as a controlled burning. Kí la ṣe sọ pé controlled burning? Ṣé rántí kí la sọ pé controlled burning is always better?
Prevent fire
from spreading. Tí pápá bá wà láti bí, tó jẹ́ pé pápá yẹn dábẹ́ òkúta tó lọ tó kanra lọ, téèyàn bá ti ná sí bí, ká tó ra aago méjì, wọ́n á pè látàbẹ́ òkúta wípé iná ti dọ̀hùn. Open burning nìyẹn. It is not always advisable. Time tá wà yìí, a lot of things, science sọ fún wa pé oòrùn tó ń mú hàn yìí, ṣẹ́mọ̀ tó fà, greenhouse effect àti deplete ozone layer. That is going to science. Science kò làwa ṣe ń bí. Ṣùgbọ́n in most cases, tó bá ṣe é ṣe ká minimize the burning ìwádùn. Torí ìwọ́sùn táyà, èmi súnlẹ̀, ìwọ́sùn kó. Àgbájọpọ̀ gbogbo burning wa, òun náà ni ó ń deplete ozone layer. So ẹ rí pé irú àwọn heat tá à ń rí lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, àwọn heat tí ó lè bọ èèyàn lórí ẹ̀mí. So those are some of the things. A sọ̀rọ̀ nípa compost and recycling of plant residues. Ẹgbẹ́ tó ní fóònù yẹn kó bá wa kíyèsí, ó ń distract wa. Kó hàn, ó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. So ṣé ẹ rántí bá ṣe nǹkan tá a sọ nípa àwọn ewé wa composting of it, báwo la ṣe lè ṣe? A máa gbẹ́ ihò. No, we understand what tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọ́n máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀. The only thing is pé ọ̀tọ̀lẹ̀ tó ń dún ọ̀tọ̀lẹ̀ tẹ́ ń pa àbẹ́rẹ́ ìlú báyìí. You know what happens when we are talking like this? Sometimes it derails your train of thoughts. You are talking, you are moving from one step to another, you are trying to explain, and then that's a distraction. So that's why, though you might have emergency call, you might put it in a way that it can signal you without you having to distract all of us. Anyway, that's by the way. We talked about composting and recycling of plant residues. So sometimes it is always better, instead of burning it off, because while you are burning it, you are also burning someone. There are microbes on the soil at the location that are both positive, negative, all of them. So we talk about recycling. When it decomposes, tó bá ti ń jẹrà, tá bá tún dá padà sílẹ̀ lẹ̀, a tún fi ọ̀rá kún ilẹ̀ yẹn ni, a tún ró ilẹ̀ yẹn lágbára. Then a sọ̀rọ̀ environmental impact of improper disposal. Téèyàn bá clear nǹkan tẹ́ kan rọ́dà síbì kan, it's not going to beautify the area, and it might be detrimental to the environment, something like that. Now, talking about tree felling and safety techniques, do you remember the reasons why we need to fell some of our trees? Trees demand fún wa ní ìbòjì, shade. Kí ni ìdí tá a ṣe ní láti gé àwọn igi kan? Ṣé gbogbo igi la gbọ́dọ̀ gé? Irú igi wo ló yẹ ká gé, irú èwo ló yẹ ká fi sílẹ̀ ká má gé? Ètò bá wúlò fún wa. Fún àpẹẹrẹ ní ìsìn tí ń bá lóko tó jẹ́ pé mo rí igi máńgò kan tó jẹ́ kó máa ń so dáadáa tó dẹ̀ dùn. Kí ni rídìn tàṣe ní láti gé? A sùn kó sẹ́yìn fún mi torí wípé nǹkan tá a lè dísà láti kọ ayé wa sábẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n. So igi tó bá wúlò a máa dá sí. Ṣùgbọ́n igi tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ń ṣíji bo nǹkan tí a fẹ́ gbìn tó jẹ́ pé òjìji, ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé òjìji, you know, plants feed photosynthetically. Photosynthesis, through the process of photosynthesis ni wọ́n ṣe ń feed. oúnjẹ ní kò jẹ́ kí wọ́n rọrùn kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí nǹkan tó bá wà lábẹ́ kí ṣó máa dàgbà dáadáa so irú àwọn òkè yẹn a máa kú then àwọn òkè míì wà tó jẹ́ pé a máa fi ń dáàbò ìjì. It serves as wind breaks. It serves as erosion control, and it even increases biodiversity. Fún àpẹẹrẹ, mo rò gbogbo wa la máa ń jẹ irú. Ǹjẹ́ ti rí igi irú rí? How common is it? Tẹ́ bá observe, tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ra irú, bóyá irú oní 1,000. Kawa cast mind were back years back irú 1,000. Ìyá fẹ́ lè mú Ghana school láti lọ fi gba irú 1,000. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn tó bá fẹ́ ra irú 1,000. Tó bá ṣọ́ra gan wọ́n lè béèrè pé mo pé kí n ṣe ìdẹ́bẹ̀ fi ṣe ìnáwó torí kò lè tó. So what are we saying? Kí ló dẹ̀ ń fà ó ní wípé some of those trees are going into extinction. So when you see trees that have economic value, that are scarce, that are rare, you don't just cut them down indiscriminately. Sure, you understand? So those are, it increases biodiversity. Do you remember the tools and equipment for tree felling? What are some of those tools? Chainsaw, axe, and machete. Do you still remember one component that we should always take care of, very important out of all those things that we have mentioned? There's one component of all those implements that we use for the tree felling that I said it is very important we observe it. You have forgotten. The undo. The undo. See, you know the cutlass. It has 3 points where they tack it. I said something about if you see that 2 of the points are removed, what should you do? Try and replace it though. So that when in the process of cutting the tree, it doesn't mistakenly fling out of your hand. Then we talked about the chainsaw too, that it is a very technical equipment that, in fact, people go and learn the job because it is hazardous. I told you the experience of somebody that wanted to cut and then it happened. Took the thing away from his hand and it hit his head. The person still alive is still now here. It's one of our staff. It happened to me really. So what I'm saying is that it's a very dangerous equipment. Chainsaw gbọ́dọ̀ wà ní operation kó súnmọ́ ibi tí ara èèyàn wà ó lè amputate. So it's something that you should be handled with care. And what are some of the safety practices that we need to do? You need to wear protective gear, your helmet, very important, your gloves, your boots, your goggles. Why do we need to use goggles when cutting trees? The splinters, àwọn ìtìn igi tó ìkíní yẹn yùn yẹn tó bá wọ̀yàn lójú ó lè séyàn lójú kójú yẹn dẹ̀ fọ́. So the brush cutters. If you watch them, sometimes as they are walking, the ones that don't have eye goggles, they will use clothes and to tie their eye so that they will only be seen through those clothes small because splinters of small stones can enter eye. So, and when you see them, they are walking. If you are passing, don't look in their direction, look away until you pass and give them distance, like 10 meters away from there. Those are small safety precautions that. Then when you are cutting trees, we talked about checking the tree limb and wind direction. Do you remember? What do we mean by tree limb? This is the tree, but majority of its branches and leaves is to this side. So if I'm cutting it, which direction is it likely to fall? Where it is heaviest. Can you understand? So we want to remember that. Then we also want to look at the wind direction. If the wind is blowing and it's blowing towards this side, it shows that if you are cutting it, if you are not careful, it's going to fall towards. So those are things we. Then we talk about creating escape paths. If you watch them when they are cutting, wọ́n á wò pé káti ẹ̀gbà tó mú kéèkì yẹn lọ lójijì atẹ́gùn kan change mo rí wípé direction mi ni ó ń bọ̀ ṣé mo fi àwọn ọ̀nà sílẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé mo lè sábà bí mo lè sábà bẹ̀ yẹn because it's something that is technical and dangerous. You have to create escape paths. Steps in tree felling, marking the falling direction, making the notch and the back cut. Remember what I said? That V-shape, which says this slice of cake here, one gbé lọ́wọ́ sàlẹ̀ báyìí, one gbé mi lọ́wọ́ bí báyìí, one mú V, tó bá ti gbá yẹn jáde kúrò lára ẹ̀, ṣẹ̀mọ̀ kó máa ṣẹ́ ni. So, and then tó bá ti ṣẹ́ yẹn tí ò ṣẹ̀ tán, wọ́n á kàn gbé bí báyìí láti release it. By the time they are releasing this place, aṣẹ́sá náà bí ìgé pọ̀ ńlẹ̀. So, then we talk about limbing and blood clotting. Limbing ni pé àwọn ẹ̀ka kéékèèké tó wà lára ẹ̀ yẹn, these are our limbs. Wọ́n á gé kúrò, á kó àwọn logs, wọ́n á gé àwọn logs yẹn, and it will be easy to pack. So that is that on tree felling. Then we equally talked about stumping, root removal, and land leveling. Methods of stumping: manual stumping, the digging, leveling, and cutting roots with hoes and mattocks. Mechanical way, using tractor winches and stump grinders. Chemical, applying stump decomposition agents. Now let's discuss that a little bit, because we rushed towards the end of our lecture last week. So let's expatiate on them. What do we mean by manual way of stumping? Stumping means the way igi ló ti dúró yìí o, àti gé èyí tó kù láti ilẹ̀ igi yẹn kò jù báyìí sílẹ̀ ilẹ̀ lọ. Àwa fẹ́ yọ kúrò. Act of removing òkùté tó kù yẹn or the stumping. Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe máa ń ṣe? Lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà wọ́n á gbé ilẹ̀ ráùndì ẹ̀. Wọ́n ṣe ń gbé ilẹ̀ yẹn, àwọn èèkàn ẹ̀ tó wọnú ilẹ̀ á máa farahàn. Bó ṣe ń farahàn yẹn, a máa wá pẹ̀lú àìdá àdá àbí mátọ̀, wọ́n á máa gé until tí wọ́n máa lè gbé tí stump yẹn á lè ṣubú tá lè kúrò ńbẹ̀. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó bá kú, ìwò máa wà ńbẹ̀ ní àbí art of stumping yẹn. Ní tí mo describe fún wa yẹn kò ní manual way of stumping. There is yet another way. Wọ́n pè yẹn ní is a mechanical way. Wọ́n máa ń lo tractor àti nǹkan tí wọ́n pè ní stump grinder. Tẹ́ bá ti lọ sí ìsọ̀ pákó, oríṣiríṣi machinery ló wà ńbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ìmí wà ó máa ń gbó èpo igi. Ló yẹ kó tó bá wà ńbẹ̀ a máa gbé máa ṣiṣẹ́ ààbò èpo igi yẹn. Wọ́n ti wá design àwọn ọmọ tó jẹ́ wípé tí wọ́n bá gbé sí ara stump yẹn, á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ̀ kúnná tó máa sọ ẹmọ̀péjì náà ní á sọ di dust, á jẹ́ kó loose kò níwà lódindi mọ́. Ìyẹn wọ́n pè yẹn ní stump grinder. Then wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀, a tún sọ̀rọ̀ nípa tractor winches. Tractor winches yẹn wọ́n máa mú nǹkan bíi okùn, ṣẹ́mọ̀kí ní táwọn agbégilódò máa fi ń mú igi tó máa fi ń di igi mú ara agbégilódò wọn yẹn. Wọ́n á chain yẹn, wọ́n á so mọ́ stump yẹn, wọ́n wá máa fi tractor yẹn fà. So ẹ̀kọ́ ni pé wọ́n yẹn fà yẹn, a máa ṣídì tá a fi jáde kúrò nínú ilẹ̀. Ìyẹn ni mechanical way. Chemical way, àwọn agents kan wà tó jẹ́ bí chemical tó yẹ pé tí wọ́n bá dà sí ara yìí á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yìnrìn. Tí àwọn chemical náà wà tó yẹ pé tí wọ́n bá dà sí yàn lára èèyàn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọ́n igbó nìsí, something like that. No, so those are different methods of stumping, removing stumps. Ṣé mọ̀ pé à ń visualize wípé ilẹ̀ oko wa tẹ́ pẹrẹsẹ igi wà ń bẹ̀ àti ṣan àti ń gé àwọn ènìyàn kúrò àti ń wú stump kúrò, ẹ̀rí a ṣe ń progress pẹ̀lú. So báwo ni a ṣe ń safely dispose the stump and debris wa? A lè ṣe composting. Àwọn debris yẹn a lè sọ di compost kó lè di oúnjẹ fún nǹkan tá a fẹ́ gbìn. A sọ̀rọ̀ kan tó wọ̀ náà. Then a sọ̀rọ̀ land leveling and smoothing. The importance of leveling is for us to have a uniform water distribution. You can level manually or mechanically. And then leveling helps us to avoid erosion in sloped lands. We are supposed to mention briefly the issue of another topic there, soil testing before planting. I don't know whether any of the lectures have touched that. Before you take your soil, even for analysis, there are common tests, small tests that you can perform yourself. If I take a soil and I squeeze it in my hand like this, I open my hand, the soil force of my hand. What type of soil is that? Sandy soil. If I take it and I squeeze it in my hand and it remains in the ball side, in a ball form, clay, how do we know humus? It will be in between. What is likely to be the color? White, black, red. So those are, what you are doing is you are testing the soil, right? And those are little things. Then another thing is we need to make a lot of visual observations. Ilẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ gbìn nǹkan sí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ olókùúta ni, ṣé kò kí n ṣẹlẹ̀ olókùúta, ṣé irú nǹkan wo ló bá mu gan, tí mo bá gbìn ẹ̀gẹ́ ṣó máa ta, tó bá jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó ní hard pan. Let me give you an illustration. I used to have a garden, and I love how where my garden is. I just discovered that when I plant those citrus, initially it will do well, but when the rain comes, it will start, all the leaves will fall and it will die off. I tried like 2 times. Then I called somebody. I don't understand what is happening to this garden. There's something here that is doing well. Why is this side not doing well? What happened is that topography ilẹ̀ garden náà ó pín sí méjì. Apá kan lómi tó pọ̀ jù, apá kan ò lómi púpọ̀. Apá tí ò lómi púpọ̀ yẹn, ọ̀pẹ wà ńbẹ̀, ó ṣe dáadáa. Kòkó wà ńbẹ̀, ó ṣe dáadáa. Soursop wà ńbẹ̀, ó ṣe dáadáa. Apá kejì tó lómi, apá kejì tó lómi ìyẹn tí òjò bá ti rọ̀ gbogbo omi tó bọ̀ látòkè yẹn orí ibi tó dá ibú yẹn ló máa ń dúró sí. Tí omi bá wá ti pọ̀ jù nílẹ̀ kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí òjò? Ẹ̀jẹ̀ á ṣe báyìí tí ẹ bá ẹ jẹ́ kí n tún lo àpẹẹrẹ kan fún yín. Ṣé bá máa ń fọṣọ lọ́jọ́ sátọ̀dẹ̀ àwọn àtàwọn ẹ̀ máa kábò káwá máa sún sínú máa ṣe fóòmù àwọn gálọ́ọ̀pù kan kí lẹ rò kó fà á kí ṣọṣẹ ló ń jẹ yín lọ́wọ́ omi ọwọ́ yín ti pẹ́ jù nínú omi tó bá wá pẹ́ jù léyìn ọ̀bá ṣọ́ra èèyàn bá máa wò pé ṣé kí ní òfin padà yìí ní báyìí ẹ má ti èdè alọ́ jùlọ ṣé ẹ ti gbàgbé aṣọ sínú omi ní tẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ ọjọ́ mẹ́ta nígbà tẹ́ bá máa fi yọ aṣọ yẹn àtàbí kó fẹ́ gbó wá lójú so tẹ́ bá fọ̀ sí ó lè yàtọ̀ torí kó ti pẹ́ jù nínú omi so tí rúùtù yẹn ó yẹ kí ó rí omi tó oh thank you very much. The picture is not coming. Okay, let's. So. What is that person doing? Person doing? You see.